Well, from yesterday, children from the age of 12 have started getting COVID-19 vaccines. One of the questions is, what impact will this have on our trends around COVID? The futurist Graeme Codrington joins us. Now, Graeme, good afternoon to you. I mean, the obvious question, so many people are asking this, is it the right thing to vaccinate children in this age group against the coronavirus?
Well, Stephen, as you know, I'm a scenario planner, not a medical professional, but the doctors and various health authorities all around the world have done their due diligence, and we can trust them, and the results are that it is really medically important to vaccinate children. But my interest is from the perspective of society, from the perspective of the economy. And what we're seeing is that the countries around the world, from starting in about June, July this year, countries began to vaccinate teenagers. Some countries going even younger than that. I think China goes down to the age of 3 in terms of their vaccinations. And there seems to be a very strong correlation between countries that have implemented vaccinations for young people, teenagers, as in our case in South Africa, and the strong recovery of the economy. And so, you know, I think looking at it from the perspective of the medical side of things, I think it looks like something worth doing. Looking at it from the economic side of things, looks as if this is the way out to the other side of the pandemic.
In other words, I mean, if you look at the trends and the evidence that we've seen is that the countries that vaccinate more of their population, and that includes younger parts of their population, their economies start to bounce back really quickly. The countries that don't do that are basically stuck in an economic lockdown.
Well, I think, Stephen, to understand that, maybe the simple example is to look at which industries have been really hard hit by COVID. And I think, you know, right off the top of your head, you'd think of tourism, hospitality, maybe the entertainment industries as examples. And when children start to get vaccinated, families feel more confident to get out. I think this has been part of the problem, that most young people, if they do get sick with COVID, they fairly asymptomatic, so they spread the disease, but they don't necessarily see the disease in themselves. Some young people have got sick, and there have been obviously a few fatalities, but young people tend to deal with the disease in their own bodies better than adults do, but they can still spread it. And so when you start getting vaccinated, and people who are pro-vaccination and people who are concerned about the spread of COVID will have been isolating as families, will have been minimizing going out to restaurants or going to the movies, or maybe planning a family holiday. So even though teenagers themselves don't necessarily directly spend a lot of money in the economy, it's when the families are able to be a little bit more mobile, a little bit more outgoing, that suddenly your tourism, your hospitality industries pick up quite dramatically. That's one example. There are other ways in which the vaccination of whole families affects the economy. I suppose a big one in addition to that would be that you might not have a COVID scare. You know, maybe something happens at the school and there's a bit of COVID that's going around the school, and technically the family then needs to self-isolate. If everybody's vaccinated, maybe the parents don't have to take time off of work because of that vaccination.
I mean, I suppose what this all really points to, Graeme, to put it bluntly, is that the more of us who get vaccinated, the more quickly we get vaccinated, the richer we're all going to be.
I hope it's that easy. You know, we're right in the middle of the strike, and hopefully that's over as well. There's lots going on in the economy. I think people are beginning to get their heads around the fact that maybe we are seeing the light at the end of this very long tunnel. I've been doing a little bit of work over the last few weeks with the Solidarity Fund, the non-profit organization that's been trying to work with government and private sector to try and deal with COVID. And they are convinced, I'm convinced with them, that vaccination it's not the only thing we need to do, but it's definitely an incredible part of the mix of making sure that a country deals with COVID effectively. And certainly the research from around the world is showing us that. So the Solidarity Fund has got a great campaign, which I'm very happy to support. They're calling it #RollUpYourSleevesSA and get vaccinated today. I honestly think it's free, it's easy to do. I think for most of us, it's at one level almost the least we can do, and it works.
Indeed, it does. Graeme Codrington, thank you very much indeed. The Futurist at Today, Tomorrow, Global. I really do appreciate the time. All right.